That works. Thanks.
Okay, we are live. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Professor Rohama.
Thank you for inviting me.
And how are you?
I'm good. How are you two doing?
We're just hanging in there.
Struggling a bit today.
Yeah, we're a bit low on energy, so
Okay.
our energy today depends on how you respond.
Oh, I am manic. I've had my coffee just before this, so let's do this.
Let's roll.
Yes. Okay. Firstly, how is the semester going for you?
It's going well. It's very busy. I got up on all my grading over the long weekend for one of my courses. My students were saying yesterday, yeah, we were watching our grades go up and then down and then up again. I was like, yeah, I was on a frenzy of checking. So I'm in a better place now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always good when you do your work on time.
Excellent. And that should be something that they teach you here.
Take your life experience after.
Yeah, I feel like week 9 seems like a good time to remember this lesson where all my kids were like just halke. They're like, ma'am, we haven't slept. I'm like, neither have I. That's okay. I know. I think they were hoping I would give them extensions and stuff. I'm like, no, I also have not slept. So we're gonna struggle together. But yeah.
So you're new to Habib.
I am.
How's that going? What do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel good. I like it here.
It's been three months.
I mean, however long this semester has been so far, yes, it has been that long. Yeah, I showed up on the last day of July in Karachi, and it's been very Habib centered my life since 2nd of August. So, but it's good. I like the people. Students are nice. It's a good experience so far.
So where are you from?
Lahore.
Oh, wow.
And tell us a bit about. Wow.
No. Wow. Yes. Also from here, but slightly up north.
I live here and there as well.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. How was your childhood? Where did you grow up?
How are you as a child?
I like how we grew up here and there. Also, please unpack your childhood for us. My childhood was also in Lahore. I was born there. I don't know if I'll die there, but there's hopefully some time before that happens. Childhood was nice. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. Like I'm the third. I have 2 older sisters. There's like a 6 and 8 year age gap between me and my sister. So they were a bit older when I was born. So by the time I was like, let's all play together, they're like, no, we're like super cool and teenagers, so go away. So I read a lot of books. That makes it sound sad, but I was fine. They were nice to me. Books are great. Love to hear this. Yeah, what else would you like to know about my childhood?
How was it being the last child?
Hard-hitting journalistic questions.
This is true. I did ask. The existential crises are beginning. It was fine. I think people tend to assume that the youngest child is either going to be the most mature or the most spoiled. And I would say I'm probably the most mature. Sorry, sisters. But I think you have the advantage of like observing a lot of what's going on around you, especially if there's a bit of an age gap between you and your siblings. So you kind of figure out like, oh, this is the kind of thing that would get me into trouble. So let's not do that, but do something else that's new instead. So I think you get a lot of experience through that.
Okay. So how was school for you? What was your favorite subject? Were you always into arts?
I was always into art. So both of my sisters are also artists. So we just kind of would draw a lot, still do. I really loved English literature. I really loved history and I loved art. So these were my 3 big ones. And then in O levels, I took food and nutrition, which was also really lovely because I love to cook. So that was really fun as well. And I thought I would always do something in art, but because my 2 sisters were artists, I thought I'm going to be different. I'm not going to go to the same art school they did. I'm going to get a degree in political science. which will make me very fancy. And then I realized somewhere in junior year that I could not do that anymore. And luckily, my university had just introduced an English lit degree. So I thought, yeah, I'm switching majors and I'm going to make my life a lot easier and a lot happier. So I did that.
So where did you go for undergrad?
Plums.
Oh, sure.
Also, this has timed out. I don't know if that's.
Thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah. Okay, so I will just move the
Okay,
trackpad
yeah.
whenever I feel like.
Okay.
Okay.
So why did you not go to NCA?
बात नहीं करना था ना.
Oh,
Huh, like I really,
yeah.
so because I'd also taken like, so world history and government and politics. I took both in A levels and I really enjoyed government and politics. And I was like, I love news and I love analyzing things. So I'm going to like study this and be really fancy and go into academia. And then, yeah, A level government and politics is very different to university political science, where I'm like, I don't want to read 300 pages on theory about why the world sucks. Like, that's very sad. So that is why I did not go to art school
Do you
initially.
imagine yourself checking essays sometimes?
I am literally checking it. After this, I have to check essays.
Oh, you're taking Redcom.
No, I'm taking ideation and some of the
Ideation
assignments.
as essays?
They do if I teach.
There was one assignment, right? Yeah, I guess we had to write a story or something.
Oh yeah, observe a place and
How?
write a description.
That is exactly what I'm checking right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Do you enjoy ideation, teaching ideation?
I do. I am lucky in that so I teach ideation and materials, and I have a significant-ish overlap in terms of the students I have. So I feel like I've gotten to know some of them really well, and they're all very funny and they're very honest. Literally, one of them said to me yesterday, I don't know if there's like a more politically correct way to say this, but these are his words, not mine. He was just like, yeah, it's just bullshit. I just came up with it on the spot when I asked him for a justification. And I literally I don't know if you guys have seen that meme of Lisa Simpson when she's just like, where I was like, I really appreciate that you feel like you can say these things to me. But
maybe don't.
I was like, very transparent process. Like there is no smoke and mirrors. It is just, this was things I came up with on the spot. I was like, I can only respect your bravery for phrasing it this way. Yeah, so I'm enjoying ideation.
How do you explain ideation to someone who has no idea what it is, like to a CS student?
It's I don't know actually. When I got this, I know that's the most obvious answer, and it's how you create ideas. And then people are like, "Why are you spending 4 months of your life doing that?
Yeah.
Didn't we do brainstorming and mind mapping since class 2?" And I'm like, "You're not wrong, but yeah, I think it's just I would say it's kind of a design heavy course that teaches you how to take any kind of project from start to finish, right? So. And that involves like the kinds of iterations you're going to do, the kind of thought process you're going to get involved in, collaboration, all of this stuff.
So do you prefer materials or ideation?
I think I prefer ideation right now, but that's only because I feel like materials goes very quickly. And
It goes.
What do you mean?
It went very slowly for me.
Oh, I mean in the sense of like how many topics you have to kind of get through in terms of the syllabus. So, even for me, there's some things that I would really love to spend extra time on, really stretch out something. And it's also, I think materials becomes more tricky because it's skill-based. Ideation relies on some skills that students already have, like, essay writing. Oh, we looked at a thing and now we're going to analyze it. Like that stuff you can do. A skill requires a lot of time and patience. So so it's just a bit more roadblocks with materials, but
yeah, I remember in my first semester I had materials first and then ideation, and then I used to get so frustrated in materials, and ideation would be like
Calming.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's the opposite for me. So I teach ideation in the mornings and then materials in the evening on the same day. So I have 5 hours straight of teaching, and with mostly the same students, right? So they're also like dying by 4:45. I usually don't eat on those days because I don't have time. So I think yesterday even was giving such loopy critiques to some kids around 4:30, and I literally just had to be like, I'm so sorry, I had one slice of cake at 6 a.m. and that is it. So please come and see me in office hours when I have more food in me and we can unpack this further. So yeah, I think it's just the nature of the course.
Speaking of food, what's your favorite Habib's eating spot? Because there aren't that many.
I think I've just stuck to Tapal. I don't think
Okay.
I've really gone anywhere else. I know there's that dhaba that serves the fries, but somehow anytime I need to eat, it's like a proper meal time. So I just head to Tapal and I have food.
That's
So
fair. That's
yeah.
how it's supposed to be.
Do you eat from
Unlike some
cafe?
people who only eat fries for a living.
Oh, I mean, I probably shouldn't say this on a live stream, but when I'm by myself in my apartment, I have eaten so many Gaddy Chin's packets and called them dinner. And then I tell my friends, and they're like, that's not food. I'm like, but the work needs to be done. So I also eat like an undergrad half the time. So
Good to know.
really, like, just great health choices I'm making for myself.
Yeah, there are days even when I don't get time to eat because back-to-back classes.
Yeah, it's really
And Some
fun.
people schedule meetings.
Should I leave? This feels like a conversation needs to happen between the two of you about eating habits and meeting schedules. Just picking up on some passive aggression here.
Only aggression. Okay, so you went abroad to study.
I did.
How was that?
Your experience?
It-
Where did you go?
So I did my MFA in illustration. So I went to the Maryland Institute College of Art, which is a very long name, and I still don't understand why it's both an institute and a college, but words. So I went there. It's in Baltimore, and it was really nice. I think it's so I went on Fulbright, and they do this like many sessions where it's like culture shock ho sakta hai and don't be alarmed, Americans is tarah ki cheezein karte hain. But I think we're also inundated with just American media that I didn't really meet anybody who'd been like, yaar iska kya matlab hai, like we just know how to obey traffic rules and like khana kis tarah ka milega ye sab. Reverse culture shock is a thing. And especially because I graduated in COVID, so I couldn't have like the closing seminar that Fulbright organizes because obviously they were just like, please find a flight and leave. So I think coming back becomes a bit tricky, especially if it's a thing like Fulbright and especially if you're a woman, because you don't have to worry about money for those 2 years or however long you're there. You're essentially just experiencing freedom for the first time, right? You're walking is a big thing. Literally across the board, I feel like you could find a Fulbrighter from the 80s and they would be like, yeah, Joe walks minute, so that I think is like a uniting experience. So the actual degree and going there was really lovely. Really enjoyed my time there.
So when you go abroad, like how do you maintain your Pakistaniyat and your cultural values and stuff? Do they even get shaken for that matter?
No.
Or do they matter for you?
They do matter. I think when I first was leaving, I didn't really care about the whole cultural ambassador type thing. And I didn't really think it would ever really come up. But the way my program was structured was that I was the only Pakistani there. And then I had a friend who was from India. And that's when I really realized just how lovely it is to have somebody who understands what you're saying, because we could visit each other in the studio and she would be speaking in Hindi and I'd be speaking in Urdu, and we would talking and raving and complaining. And we would, if we went out to dinner and somebody acted really stupidly, we'd just be like, "Yaar, ye kya tha?" Yes, very cool. Kya baat hai ho rahi hai? So that was it was really lovely to have that. And I had a really nice roommate as well who is incredibly curious as a human being. So she would ask me a lot of questions about Pakistan and this sort of stuff. And it was nice to be able to it forces you to also think about things that you take for granted, right? Because she'd really ask you like, oh, why do you say things in this way? Or like, you did this to a certain type of food you were cooking, like what's the significance? And I'd be like, oh yeah, what is the significance? So it turned out to be cooler. I think I became more chill with the idea of being Pakistani by, yeah, just kind of working through that.
Do you have some interesting stories to share?
I do. Um, the one that comes to mind about the same friend who is, I should preface this by saying, love her to bits. She's one of the best friends I made in my life. I think the only person I could ever like live together with and have zero issues. She she did this thing called she was part of something called AmeriCorps. Oh God, she's gonna hate me for this story. And they basically went to I believe rural areas in America, and they would teach them how to do sustainable crafts, like go into the neighborhood,
Mm.
kind of integrate, teach them how different things. And you said, uh, one time I was in her apartment and I found a pamphlet that was just like, I don't know, it was like how to talk about Muslims, or like it had a really racist title, and the word Muslims in red in capitals on it. And I was just like, what is this? And she just turns bright red and starts apologizing a lot. And I really love making fun of her. So I obviously went that this is a hate crime. You have known me for 6 months and this is what you think. It turns out she had gone to a rural place in Montana where they don't get many Muslims or brown people. And part of what they were doing there was to train the locals. Like, if you see somebody different, yeah, of a different culture, like, how would you talk to them? No? So it was one of those pamphlets, like how to be neighborly to people who don't look and sound like you. I obviously am an ass, so I was just like, this is just, you owe me reparations. At one point, I used Urdu on a poster. At one point, she accidentally called it Arabic. I did not let her live it down. As you can tell, I'm a very sensitive friend. I really care about the people in my life. I make them feel good like all the time. Um, so those are some memorable moments. I have to talk to her on Friday. I'm gonna tell her that I gave away all her secrets on this
You can
show.
just send her the link to the show.
Yeah, I'll just be like, you were such a big part of this. Like, please watch.
So, you mentioned that you love cooking
Mhm.
or like cooking, but so when you went abroad, did that kind of change your taste in some way and your cooking habits in some way?
So at home I have a like my family has a cook, so I don't so ghar pe I'm usually cooking like desserts or I
Hmm.
bake a lot and things like that. I think being in America and having to cook like actual food for myself and to plan those things out was interesting. I also had a lot of instant noodles, tabhi. I had boiled eggs for dinner. I ate a lot of just fast food as well, because we'd be running really late nights in the studio, and you don't want to spend money on the nicer food all the time. And there was a Popeyes chicken place like down the street, and they would deliver in 5 minutes. So I had many sandwiches from there. Um, but yeah, I think when COVID hit, I was able to get the time because we were all locked in our houses. And so I started baking a lot more. I made really fancy cakes for no reason. I would make biscuits one day, and my housemates would just be like, cool, this is breakfast now. So I would do weird things like that. I also really love cooking for people, so I would try to host. And so we had an Eid. I had an Eid party, only Muslim in the crowd. That was also really nice. So yeah, I think it just forced me to like plan things out a bit more.
What do you cook the best?
Ooh, I make a mean lasagna.
Oh.
Yeah. I also made cow soy recently, and I think I make a good cow soy. There are certain things and these are actually, apart from the cow soy, mostly recipes from my food and nutrition days. Because my teacher for that gave us her recipe book. So it's all her handwritten recipes. And there's some of like the best, like the burgers from that, the lasagna, chili. She has a pavlova recipe that I still use. It's really cool. So I like
I
making
saw
all
the
these things.
house on your story. It looked really tempting.
Yeah, I've noticed that I can like. This is not to put you on the spot, but I think it's really nice that I get a notification from you like every time I post something, which is that you've liked my story.
Because she does her research well, you know.
Oh, okay. Is that
Yeah.
I was just for research. Okay, not actual engagement with my curated
No,
content.
I definitely engage with your content. You should,
all content.
yeah, you should post more actually.
Oh, what do you think I should post?
Anything. I think you are a really good person to have conversations.
Okay.
So yeah, you speak really well. I
Okay,
think
thank
you're
you.
very witty.
You also have like a really fun manic energy, which is fun. Yeah.
Yes,
So
good.
that
Yeah, I think I used to post a lot more. I think now having students.
Oh, you should post them.
क्या बच्चों भी
उधर है तुमने तुम्हारी stories नहीं देखी? The
नहीं
way she posts
Oh, हाँ,
in her
class
class.
की.
Oh, who's?
Isma.
Oh, huh. Yeah, see, most of the time I'm usually talking throughout my classes. So I have no time to actually film them doing
Oh.
work. Maybe next semester I will give them a project and just walk around like a sentinel. Yeah, I do enjoy Isma's like in class videos. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what are they doing? It looks cool.
It is.
Yeah, I use the close friends option. That's where my wit or my outfit of the day lives because yeah, I like that students follow me, but there have to be boundaries.
Okay, so do you know what you're teaching next semester?
I think so.
Which is
There's some stuff that's up in the air. I don't know if Zen would be happy if I say this, but what I'm really hoping that I get to teach is an elective on comics.
Oh.
Nice.
And I made the syllabus. I'm actually so excited for it. Like, it's literally, I love comics and I've always wanted to learn how to make them. And so, even when I was in LUMS, so my thesis there was a comic, so I would just be like Googling other universities, sequential arts programs, and yes, to figure out the kinds of things that I would want to learn. And then now I was doing it because I'm like, what do I teach them? So I feel like I've put together a very exciting course and I hope I get to teach it.
So you're gonna not are you gonna like dive into the theory of comics and also show them how to make it?
Yeah, it'll be like a seminar in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So in the seminar, we'll read a lot because I am a firm believer in that you cannot make art until you immerse yourself in it. I've had quite a few students in the past like tell me things like, Miss, I will give my life for comics. And I'm like, amazing. I love the passion. What comics do you read? Ma'am, I really like Marvel movies. And I'm like, while on a big technicality that makes sense, that still doesn't mean you've actually read a Marvel comic book, right? Because obviously it's two very different forms. So yeah, I would really love to just read and geek out twice a week about artists I really admire and kind of, show young people who they could look to for inspiration.
Okay. You guys heard it here first. Comic books.
Yeah, again, really hope nothing bad happens admin wise, knock on wood.
Is it going to be a design elective?
Yeah. Will I see you both in it? Do you like comics?
Not really.
I can't draw at
Yeah,
all.
that is the problem with me as well. I can't draw.
Okay.
And I literally made stick figures for her birthday card because I can't draw. I was like, this is it.
That is the reason why at least I struggled in materials.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, stick figures also work, by the way. There's some really incredibly popular comics that are just stick figures or just like it's a circle talking. So it's not just that, right? It's how you tell a story. I won't force you guys to take it, but I just mean like drawing
No, but
skills are not.
I would definitely come and just.
Sorry.
No, are you okay?
Fine.
Okay.
Sorry, distracting.
It's so totally fine. Okay.
I would definitely come and sit and watch and
Okay.
observe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yeah.
Every class I'll be like, where's Marya? She said she would be here. What is going on? Can't start class without her.
Why
Say,
are
you know.
lying to me?
She lied to me on this is a national on
television.
on the internet, the place where one can only tell the truth.
No, I'll definitely come and I'll take. Bring her as well.
No, why not?
Okay.
It'll be interesting. Something new.
Okay. Love the enthusiasm, guys. Thanks. Thank you for validating my course.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
You hear that, Professor Zen? It's gonna be great.
So you need to approve it.
कोई भी
Wow.
सवाल?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was hoping that you could do your puppet voice with this.
I had a feeling that was going to come up.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking yesterday, oh God, what was the puppet voice? I think he was really nasal. He spoke a bit like this. He sneezed a lot, I think I mentioned, on account of his big nose. Um, I called him Count Nocula, but at one point I turned him into a professor because I was speaking like this, and the other person that I was performing with wanted her puppet to be a student. And I said, all right, I have no idea what my face is doing as I make this voice. I can only imagine that it's insane. So I'm going to stop now.
It's good. I
Oh,
love it.
yeah, it's
Thanks.
cool. Something different.
So you've dabbled in performance and comedy?
Dabble is a good word. Yeah, I got a teaching certification at Micah. And so part of that was being a TA for like 3 courses and a bunch of other fun things I had to do. That sounded sarcastic. I actually enjoyed the process. So I was the TA for a puppetry and performing objects course. And so in that, I was able to learn a couple of skills just by observing. And yeah, so this was just like an in-class exercise that we performed with, and there was somebody absent. So I was like, I have this weird guy I can perform with the students.
So you could become the TA even without taking the course?
Yeah, so I actually really wanted to enroll in that course as a student, but because it was an undergrad course, and the teacher was absolutely amazing and one of the most popular people there, her course is filled up in 5 seconds. Though I reached out and I was like, because at the time my thesis I thought would have a performing aspect to it or like a puppetry aspect. So I also wanted like the making skills because I really love craft, but I'm such a slow learner that I was like, please, somebody teach me. I cannot do YouTube tutorials. I will die. So I kind of just offered my services as a graduate teaching intern. And yeah, the GTI. And she was nice enough to let me. She's a really cool person.
Okay. So what sort of films do you like?
I am usually down to watch more. That's not true. I'm thinking. What kind of films do I like? I really like things that. So okay, I love Studio Ghibli movies. I'm a huge anime nerd, so I will always watch those and shows and stuff. Um, I like old school horror movies, like not the kind that I don't like jump scares. I'm okay with gore, but it doesn't like I don't feel like watching that stuff. So I'm talking like old Dracula movies where the blood looks like ketchup and that sort of stuff, and everyone's foundation is like 10 shades lighter than it should be. Really enjoy those sorts. Cheesy 90s action movies. Like if I see Gone Air on TV, I will sit down and watch the whole thing. I love Face Off. Nick Cage, basically, like a Nicolas Cage movie, I will watch it. Ghost Rider, all that stuff. Yeah, I have weird tastes. And then I'll usually end up watching. I have a whole list of movies that I have downloaded, and they're all like very artsy movies. So for them, I need the right mind frame, which I do not have after a day at Habib to be like, oh, let me watch this art house German film from the 1970s. I'm like, no, Rohama, just watch anime and have your cow sway and go to bed. Like, this is the mental bandwidth you have. But yeah, so that's that kind of stuff.
So do you watch any Bollywood or something different?
I watch Bollywood if I have somebody watching it with me. So, like, my sister will sometimes suggest something, or on a rare occasion, my mom. I've seen like the old school Karan Johars, right? So, like, wo to covered hai.
Okay.
Abhi on the last Eid, my mom and I was putting mehndi on her, and we decided to watch Dostana, like the Amitabh Bachchan wali.
Right. Very
That is like 2-3 hours of my life I will never get back, and the acting was so bad. Literally, one of the guys was just like, "ये मेरा दोस्त विजय है, मैं एक crooked defense lawyer हूँ, और ये है policeman. आपको लगता होगा कि इसमें हमारी दोस्ती में कोई दुश्मनी होगी, मगर ये सही नहीं है." Like literally, this was the dialogue delivery, and I was like, "What is this telemarketing dubbed thing?" But he is actually Indian. He's actually this is his speaking voice. Yeah, and then Mama had kind of picked that because she was like, "Oh, Amitabh, and he looks young. Ye dekh lete hain." And by the end of it, she was like, "I'm so sorry." And like I think 12 baj rahe the, mehndi dry nahi hui, and we were just sitting. It ended with a helicopter chase, and then people, these grown men running and like huffing across a field. It was wild.
Can't even change it because you have mehndi on.
I was just like, we have trapped ourselves in this. The TV must turn off itself. We are bus captive audience at this point. Yeah.
I think you would be a great stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I feel like you have some comedy experience, right?
Um, I think I just watch. So I feel like I'm a sponge. So I watch a lot of comedy. Are you guys familiar with John Mulaney?
Yes.
Heard of
So his style of comedy is something I really enjoy. So the same friend who who I've accused of hate crimes and on this show, she and I kind of just riff off of each other using his comedic style a lot. But yeah, I just enjoy it. I think it's hard for me to just shut up sometimes. So it works. It amuses people.
Okay.
So, why did you come to it?
Good question. I think I really wanted a change of scenery. I haven't been to Karachi since I was 13, I think was the last time I visited. Though it had been many, many years, and I think I was finding that the art scene in Lahore was becoming a bit stifling for me. Uh, no matter where you go, you kind of need contacts to get you into certain places, but I found that people were just a little less open. If you hadn't been to art school and you didn't know these people already for 10 years, they were just a bit like, oh, aap kaun hai na? And so it was just becoming a bit difficult in terms of opportunities. And I felt like Karachi was also a good city in terms of like, there's always something happening in terms of art and people respect illustration a bit more. I think Lahore is coming up more in terms of that, but it still has a way to go. And then Habib in particular just seemed really cool. I liked the things that they were saying about, uh, you know, valuing students and the way they were structuring, just even the way they spoke about students. I was like, oh, this feels rare for a Pakistan university to be like, oh, we care about them. I'm like, where am I? Like, what is going on? I also knew Zain. He was my he was my senior at LUMS. So I already had a bit of a like I'd reached out and because I knew him a little, I was like, yeah, I remember him as a cool person, so I'm sure he's still doing cool things as well. So shout out to you, Zen. So yeah, those are the reasons I decided to join.
Do you like living in Karachi?
I I don't have any strong feeling. I hate the roads. That's something I always say. I also joke that now this is making me a BMLN supporter because I'm like, if there's one thing the Sharif brothers know how to do is build a road, because that's all they do whenever they're in power. Like all of Lahore suddenly gets a makeover, shiny underpasses, things get constructed within a night.
Okay.
And over here, I feel like I need to invest in finding a chiropractor just for all the bumps in the roads. Yeah, Karachi is interesting. I honestly I come here and then I go straight to the apartment. And at the most, I call people to the apartment where I'm like, I will host. I'm too tired to leave. So I don't think I've really seen the city so far.
Fair enough.
What would you guys recommend? Where should I go?
What kind of places do you
Enjoy
like? Yeah.
visiting.
Arts, food, history, culture, anything really.
So food to water.
Okay.
So Bansur is gonna be like one thing that everyone is gonna say, but if you want to try like some different cuisine, I mean like stuff like Mexican food or Asian cuisine, I would say like Defense is a good area. They have a lot of options there.
Okay.
Do you like Korean Thai?
I love Korean and Thai food.
I think Chop Chop Walk is a good place for you to go.
Okay.
Serve good
Same.
food.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
All right, I will check it out.
Yes.
Thanks. No history, no arts, no culture.
History and culture
Thank
के
you.
लिए Pakistan Chowk
Hmm.
Community Center has this heritage walks on Sunday mornings. Like सुबह के 6-7 बजे जब पूरा खाली होता है, and they have this guided tour.
Nice.
And they talk about all the buildings, ये कब construct हुई थी, इसका renovation कब हुआ. And it's a really interesting process, and if you have time, you can even I don't think you'll be interested, but you can intern there as well, and it's really fun. It's a really interesting process. They do oral history and they do old town mapping. It's really cool. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
There's Rangoon Wala what is it called, where they set up
क्या
art
बोल रहे हो?
gallery.
क्या
Art
बोल रहे
gallery,
हो?
yeah, sorry. वही जहाँ पे art exhibitions लगते हैं ना.
कहाँ पे लगता है?
रंगून.
मोहाटा पैलेस में. मोहाटा पैलेस.
Okay.
Rangoon wala is a good place to go. They have like good art exhibitions there.
Where is Ranguna?
It is near Doraji.
Okay.
Very far
Words.
from your place.
I will just look it up on Google Map. It sounds
Yes.
cool.
Oh, Fair Hall apparently is also good.
Huh.
But there are a lot of TikTokers out there these days, so you have to be like very dodging.
My
TikTokers.
sworn enemies.
Like literally, if you
I
go
don't
on a
think-
Sunday, there are only TikTokers making their
Please don't go
TikToks.
there on a weekend. You will be
Oh.
traumatized.
But they have the book fair on the weekends,
Yeah.
That's good.
which I do want to go
It's
to.
an interesting mix then.
Okay, chalo, I'll just like, maybe I'll pretend to be a celebrity. I'll wear a baseball cap, I'll wear sunglasses so they can't see me, I can't see them.
Yeah.
I'll just go for the books.
Okay. And speaking of TikTokers, your thoughts on TikTok?
I'm not kidding when I say it kind of freaks me out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also because, so I'm not on TikTok, and my friends send me just the kind of really bizarre humor wali that we can appreciate. I say this as somebody who's fairly ignorant of it. But yeah, I don't know, the dances. And I think people just have the same face now, no matter where they're from in the world. And that kind of freaks me out. I think I once texted a friend where I'm like, yeah, bahut ho gaya, globalization, like, let's shut it down, let's put up the borders again. It's mostly a joke. But yeah, I think this kind of, among certain classes of society, this kind of homogenization that's again taking a lot of its cues, this is again very serious, taking a lot of cues from America, where people will draw freckles on their face or like they'll dress a certain way and that's fine, right? But I'm also just like, that kind of critical sense of like, oh, but why are we dressing this way?
Yeah.
Like, how does this content relate to us in our lives? I think that part is just missing. And part of it is also because you're young and you don't think along these lines. You're just like, oh, that looks cool, I'll do it, right? Which is, again, totally fine. But yeah, I just kind of, I'm like missing the introspection bit sometimes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Even I don't know how to use TikTok. So.
Yeah, I think for me, again, my anime nerdery showing. So I know it's not the same, but like Instagram Reels, because they're trying to
Yeah.
copy. So my explore feed is just like fan cams of anime characters mostly, which I'm not just admitting everything today. But even then, like the song choice and like, it'll be a slow reverb version of like Let's Get Loud. I'm like, who is making these songs, Pele? Who is this person, right? Like singing in that indie ukulele strumming, but it's Jennifer Lopez. I'm like, what is going on? And then it'll be like a fight scene, anime ka dala hua hai, or phir 3,000 camera angles. Like, it's like Star Plus dramas on steroids. And again, like the short video length where I'm just like, yeah, my brain, I can feel my brain rotting looking at these repetitive things for 5 seconds.
It feels
So-
like they've added everything in
Yeah.
those 30 seconds,
Yeah.
15 seconds.
It's a lot. It's very overwhelming.
So, moving on. A funny student encounter, an interesting student encounter.
Oh, you should just visit my ideation class. I feel like all my whole class is just a bunch of jokers. No, they're really funny. I really enjoy their spark of life, their willingness to be alive and to come and hear me talk at them for a while. Interesting. I mean, yesterday this kid who was just like, yeah, it's just bullshit I made up on the spot. I was just like, 10 out of 10, ye water cooler aapka hua. I would have never admitted this to my professor in my uni days, even if I had thought it. Yeah, sometimes I think I'll just look at my students and they'll just start laughing. And it's very funny to me. So I start laughing and it'll be over in nothing. I'll be like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, miss. It's like, okay. Yeah, I just have really funny kids.
I think I should really visit your idea
Yes. Just see what's up.
for some entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, मैं also उनकी काफी बेइज्जती करती हूँ, so it's just fun when they don't do work. I'm like, oh, is this what we came here for? Is this how we're wasting everyone's time today? So I like to keep it light and mean sometimes,
As it should be.
as it should be. I think it's a great motivator.
Light and mean.
I feel like CND courses really break the stereotypes of, the class norms. and they really help you think things that you've never thought of before. So I really love that about this program. It's not like the usual CS, so exam, midterm.
Why is CS being thrown under the
Okay,
bus? We need
Because
coders and we
these
need.
kids keep complaining about their life. इन लोगों ने खुद चुना है फिर भी तंग करते
Yeah,
रहते
I
हैं.
mean, you chose it for yourself. ना,
हम
you
कोई
cannot
बोल रहे हैं कि
complain.
कैमरा लेके ही घूमना पड़ता है कुछ कभी बोला इनको कुछ हमने.
I would point out that you both spent some time complaining about materials, which was also something you chose as being part of this
I
program.
did not. I chose to.
You
make
chose to be
sense.
part of this
I
program.
chose to make sense. And they
but
gave me a paintbrush and I was like, मैं इसका क्या करूँ?
the storyboarding आपकी films के लिए कौन करेगा?
Storyboarding की जरूरत नहीं है if you have a very good short list.
This is like art versus this is the communication and design side battle.
See, they also complain about their professors. Okay,
Okay.
we are
Oh, yeah.
lucky with professors.
We do
Okay.
like our
Yeah,
professors,
materials was
yeah.
bearable because of moment.
Yeah, because of disruption.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that this is just turning into a C&D. Zen was right. He was just like the C&D representation on this show is like very
Yes.
disproportionate.
I will call you.
We tried to call DSSE people, okay?
But
And
then they don't speak.
yeah, we really have to try.
Oh, but you had like Dr. Anzar, Hasib, Dr.
yeah.
Ragar, so that's a good.
To be fair, Dr. Anzaka, we were very
That is one of the most embarrassing
episodes.
episodes
That was
What?
our first
Why?
episode, and we had no idea how to talk to the
to
guests.
a faculty. I mean, that was the first
Why?
time that a faculty member was sitting, and we were so conscious, and it's literally the worst
It's
episode.
like the
Yeah, and thank God it's not on YouTube, it's only on Facebook, because the first episode we streamed it on Facebook, and then from the second episode we streamed it
Okay.
on YouTube, so we were a bit comfortable then.
Okay, I'm gonna go and watch it right
next
now in my
semester we're
office.
gonna have a redemption episode.
I was just
with
gonna
him
say,
and then
keep
with
it.
them, see, we improved.
Yeah, Dr. Anzar seems really cool and easy to
Yeah.
talk to. So
He's really cool, yeah.
yeah.
He gave a good recommendation for the falafel sandwich. You have to do okay. I had it yesterday. So I just keep thinking about that now.
Okay, maybe that's my lunch today. Then instead of Chinese from
Have
Dubai.
you tried Cafe de Go?
I have. Yeah, it was good. It was decent. I just feel like they take a bit of time to make it. Sorry, Cafe to
And
go.
they also take too much money. That's just my opinion.
Well, list of improvements to be made at Habib. We're also constructing that list.
So my question is,
Hmm.
Cafe to Go is this Dubai cafe ki koi franchise,
Oh, okay.
and that's one of the reasons why it's the price point
Mm.
that it has. Why don't you just get a cafe Karachi ki that does it and make it a bit less pricier
Yeah,
and still good food?
that's a good.
And
Question.
sometimes the food is so pricey and it's not even good.
Mm. You should put that in some suggestion box.
I keep telling the food cabinet about it, but they don't listen.
Because I am not the chair.
But you are in it. Who else am I supposed
Wait,
I'm
I'm sorry, there's a food
food
cabinet.
and hygiene cabinet. who
Okay.
Takes care of. Who apparently takes care of.
We're just rewriting the rules and the scope of this cabinet on live radio. Okay. Marya, I feel like you're involved in a lot of things. How are you? Just feel like this show should just be deconstructed. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
This leads us to a
Surviving.
segment, actually.
Sorry?
This leads us to a segment.
Okay.
So you get to ask 3 questions from us, either as individuals or friends, or
Okay.
as representatives of the student body. And
Ooh.
you can ask us a couple of questions if you want.
Okay.
Also, before that, where have you seen me?
Where have I seen you? Huh? Everywhere. You're like you pop out from every corner on campus. But we have done a focus group together.
Yes.
We have attended lunch together.
Yes.
We've attended a theater workshop together.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've seen you around.
Yeah, I saw you for the first time in the orientation week.
Oh yeah, you were there as well. You were introducing everybody. See?
Oh yeah, the CND.
Yeah.
the first
See,
year
this is what I
faculty.
mean. Like you are everywhere. So that is genuinely my first question. How are you, Marya?
I'm good.
We need to schedule times to talk to her because she has like 500 meetings in a day because she's in everything.
Yeah, I'm getting that sense. But you're doing okay.
Yes, I'm doing good. This helps me survive.
Okay, good to hear it. Okay, so that was one question. Hana, I'm assuming you are okay. You seem like you're doing good.
Okay. Sure. If you say so.
Do you want to unpack
No,
that?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Some trauma dump.
And not today. Some other time.
Okay. Another question from you guys. What is something you really enjoy in a class that a teacher does? What's something that really worked for you when you had to learn something?
Um,
They laugh at my jokes. It's very
yeah,
important.
just being their self and not like, oh, I'm a professor, I'm
Mm.
at an esteemed position. Not like that, but just being try putting themselves in our shoes
Hmm.
and just being with us. So that really helps create a vibe and a safe space within the class, and also helps me enjoy.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also an updated canvas.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then they're also passionate.
yeah,
Because
they
their
love.
passion transfers onto us.
Yeah,
And
when they
Hmm.
like what they're doing, it really reflects in the way they teach,
Hmm.
and which helps us also have more interest in the course.
Very solid answer,
Mhm.
both personality wise and also just practical. Professors, this is your what your students say, update your canvas, please.
And email ka jawab.
And please check your emails.
They just look at it and they leave
How
it.
many unread emails do you have in your inbox?
Right now, I probably have 17, but they're mostly reminders to myself because some of my students did not upload their assignments on Canvas in time. So I've like just left them as unread so that I know I have to go and check them. Yeah, I thought I was really good at email before I became full-time faculty. Turns out when you're an adjunct, students email you very rarely and then you can reply within 5 minutes and you're like, oh, I'm so good at emails, you guys. Like, I should put that on my resume. And now I'm just like, oh God, there's so,
So
many
many
people
emails.
whose attendance didn't get marked. And at this point, I just want to say, suffer. But I know I take care of attendance
Yeah,
requests.
this attendance thing is really bad. I had to
Yeah.
email my professor like 3 times last week, and I was
Yeah.
feeling so bad.
Yeah, it's a bit it's just a little tedious and it's hard for us to also remember because there's 10 million other
Yeah.
things that we also need to do, but I understand that. I think it might have been Steve. I don't know if he talked about this on his show. Or somebody was saying ke they just kind of tell the students ke it's okay. Like absences lag jaye, and then eventually if the RO threatens you, like that's when I'll take care of it. Like don't email me on a case by case basis.
Right.
I really am very tempted by that approach at this point. Okay, maybe next semester I'm like, you know what? Until the RO threatens you,
Don't come to me.
Don't come to me.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I make that official class policy or not.
Throw some more questions.
Oh.
You're playing it very safe.
I'm playing it very safe. Um, what were your childhoods like? No, it's okay. I would not ask you to unpack any of that. So I have a sense that you guys like Bollywood movies because I think you have a show on it as well,
Yes.
right?
You did your research.
I mean, you gotta come prepared.
Mhm.
Also, a tip to my students,
Love it.
just like. Okay, what is your favorite music? Like, who's your favorite band or singer?
Ajit Singh.
Hmm.
Very generic answer, but
I literally don't know who that is, so that's not
generic
very
in the Bollywood
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
Favorite singer. I don't really have a favorite singer. I listen to songs that I like. So it could be literally any singer. And these days I'm really inclined towards classical music and
Hmm.
old 90s Bollywood music. So I listen to a lot of ghazals. I've started listening to Bengali albums,
Hmm.
which is super cool. So yeah,
Nice.
don't really have a favorite musician or something like that.
Hmm. Okay. So when are you guys dropping your own album? Or like a mixtape of like a curated playlist you both would make?
Mixtape.
But when? You should just do that. You should add her to Marya's to-do list. I'm sure she has all the time.
Seems
Sure.
Oh, yeah, it would be interesting. So make a Spotify playlist. We add our things.
We can. Yeah. We can.
Marya's life is just flashing before her eyes.
अरे 6 assignment
I know.
3 पोस्ट बनाने 3 अलग plugs के लिए क्या बात कर रही हो?
I had a deadline at 11:59 yesterday, and I was doing the assignment, and I thought it's 11:57, but when I was submitting it, and I was panicking, but then I realized it's 10:57, and I was so proud of myself. Oh my god, I'm an hour early.
Mashallah, sister. Good job. I'm completely blanking. Do we still do that stupid daylight savings thing? इस साल किया?
Not here.
What is that?
नहीं, बीच में Zardari did it now. We
नहीं, वो
had to
एक
suffer
घंटा
through.
कम करना
हाँ,
पड़ता था।
we had to suffer through a couple of years. I'm just trying to remember if we finally stopped that.
What is that?
Well, when you have to turn the clocks back an hour because suddenly we decided to be more productive and more like America.
Hmm.
I think it was Zardari who
Oh.
did that, and we were like, why? We're waking up for school at like 6 a.m. instead of 7. It's bad. It was brutal.
That is so stupid.
And this is me showing my age. Or the fact that I live in an alternate reality, considering this does not ring a bell at all for you, but I am slightly less sure, but 97% sure that this was a thing.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
I
thanks.
do remember it. The
When you
clock
were a
timing,
child.
when my parents were just like,
What clock do your parents have? What zamana
How
is?
old
How
are you?
old do you think I am?
there was a small dialogue.
You know, when they went up into the bell tower,
And they had to reconfigure
the grandfather clock, they had to like undo all the machinery and turn it back manually. Okay, so we've established that you both think I'm very old.
I
This
mean,
is
when
great.
you said mixtape, I kind of, that's the reason I repeated.
Okay, that's my last question to you. How old do you think I am?
Well, I know, so because I was stalking your account yesterday.
Oh, okay, huh?
and
I
you
did
had
a stupid
posted the
birthday thing.
birthday thing, so
Stupid birthday thing.
you guess.
So you just graduated. Did you go for undergrad के फौरन बाद did you go for masters?
Mm-mm.
तो 2 साल पहले काम किया? ये 2-3 साल?
Huh, I worked for like 2 years.
So you must be 27.
Close.
I'm 29.
Oh, okay.
Not bad, but also well. So you think a 27-year-old is so old?
No, I don't think, but you're speaking like.
And I was just like, I don't think it, but the evidence says otherwise.
I thought you must be like 25 or something before you said the mixtape thing. And I was just like, I don't.
No, I think it would be a bit khair. No, I'm not 25. No, I'm not that young. But I feel spiritually very much older, so I think that could also be it. I feel like in my bones that I'm 307 years old. So that might be the mixtape coming out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Only you get it.
Who are your faculty besties?
I have a really nice group of friends, and we all live in the same apartment building. So it's
Oh, nice.
Munira, it's Nimra, who is a Dean's Fellow and teaches Redcom and World Lit this semester. And then there's Colleen Ferrand, who isn't from the STP department. And otherwise, I have Isma, who I'm really close to. Raksha and Momin are really sweet. So, yeah, another thing, Christy's really cool. Another thing I like about CND is that
CMB.
everyone's just chill. हाँ तो अब मैं कहाँ जाऊँ to make non-CND faculty friends? आप बताएं.
अभी CE के पॉड में जाए हैं आप.
Oh, that's
Computer engineering के भी बच्चों को भी
That's
देखें,
true.
प्रोफेसर को भी देखें.
हाँ चलो I'll just camp out in different pods. ठीक है मैं like
Yeah.
सोफों पे like बैठ के अपने assignments वहाँ पे they'll be like excuse me child are you lost? I'll be like no I'm making friends.
Oh, speaking of faculty boards, what is something you think is perks of having a faculty board? Something secretive that you can do?
A private space to nap. That's really nice. So I was an adjunct before this, so I didn't have at another university, so I didn't have any sort of office space. I just really like having a place to put books and my stuff. I have a drawer that's filled with granola bars usually. That is my lunch. So I dig that storage space for my squirrel-like lunches that I have. Other perks, yeah, I really like having a space to myself, so I'm really happy I don't have to share and I can just like chill out, play my music and do my thing.
Do you have a tissue box in your faculty board?
Yes. I don't know. Yes, Habib was very generous in giving my office one whole tissue box that is
Because
still being
sometimes
used.
students come to faculty members and they cry. I mean, as
Oh,
Oh,
in the middle
oh,
of
this got really
boxes.
sad really fast.
मुझे लगा ठीक मारते
I know. And I also like how you said in the pod, like not your
Yeah.
office, like पूरे pod में
No, no,
एक
in the
tissue का
office.
डब्बा है at least.
Sorry, office.
Yes, okay.
Personalized.
PSA for people visiting in office hours today. I have a tissue. I hope you won't need it, but yes, I got you covered on that. That's really that was so
No,
dark.
I just thought of, so during the orientation week, I think there was a faculty thing going on. Yeah, you were not there in that. It was-
Okay, what was
Yeah.
this? I don't. Maybe I wasn't invited. Okay,
There was some shade.
I know.
अरे आप तो आई ही
Again, for Habib admin, I don't know who watches the show. I was at all my contractually obligated events and orientation sessions. But yes.
So a student asked a professor, I think it was Dr. Harris or someone that you know has. It was in Amullah. So the student asked that, oh, you know, do students come to your office and cry? So he was like, yeah, I literally have like 4 to 5 tissue boxes in my office, and sometimes students come to my office and they just cry and they go. So I just thought of that.
So what do you think about that when students are emotionally being vulnerable to you? What has that happened yet? And like, how are you planning on dealing with it if it does happen? Well, the intellectuals are
I know, we're getting really deep. I like how this interview is like going like this in terms of emotional depth. It has happened. I think part of me feels, how should I phrase this in a not weird way? I'm touched that the student feels like they can express themselves in that way in front of me. It's also a lot of responsibility, right? Even if you're friends with somebody and they're crying and being vulnerable in front of you, you're kind of responsible for them in that moment. In a teacher-student sort of thing, you are also, I think, kind of being looked to as a source of information or like, you know, just for a sense of guidance. And so I try to take that as seriously as possible. I've had really tough university experiences, and I've had really not empathetic instructors who basically are just like, this is a child's problem, go deal with it. And so I think having been through that, I would never want anyone to come to my office and for me to ever have that kind of a reaction or for them to leave feeling like I made them feel crappier. I think the world is in a really state these days. That's a very academic term, state. That's my government and politics training coming through. But I think there's just a lot that kids have to deal with. I think there's a lot of like information out there that helps them navigate their emotions a bit better, and that they're kind of, you know, using words like anxiety or depression, and like some of them have an actual diagnosis to back them up. Some of them are just like taking cues from what they've read and relating to it, and that's all fine and good. But I think then, yeah, as faculty, you kind of have to meet them where they're at. And I try to give, you know, I ask it like, is there anything in my course that I can do to make it easier on you? And if they say yes, then, you know, sure, give them that extent. Heck, I care in that I want kids to make deadlines and I want them to get a sense of time management and stuff, but not at the cost of like them dying or getting really upset and nervous about it. So yeah.
Cool.
What
that,
else
on
should I
that
say?
light and cool note.
I know.
I think we should move on to a rapid fire round
Yeah.
Okay.
because we are over time now.
Oh,
And I'm this close to having this episode as my favorite episode.
okay.
You beat out Miss Munira. How did you do it?
Don't say that, please. I have to take the shuttle with her in the evening.
She'd be like, you took away my student.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's guaranteeing my life. Say whatever you have to do. Okay, what is your rapid fire?
Are you ready? What are you not very good at?
Maths.
Have you ever received mean or bad comments in a course evaluation? Abhi to nahi hua. I'm sorry.
Ab hoga.
Not yet.
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Skander Keynes. He played Edmund in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, yes, I can see that. Okay, who is your latest celebrity crush?
Latest celebrity crush. It's not really a crush. I think I'm a bit old for a crush. Oscar Isaac's really hot.
Who?
Oscar Isaac. He's in every. He was Poe Dameron in Star Wars. What do you guys watch? Okay, well, he's really cool. I suggest you look him up. He's very, very. He was an Ex Machina. He was Moon Knight, Abhi for Marvel. Rapidly
Moving
losing.
on.
Oh my god. Okay, but he's cool.
Something that you found weird about Habib when you came here.
Where classrooms are, very confusing. Needs a map. Needs big signs.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Would you like to spill some tea about a faculty member?
No. You guys just asked me who my
Maybe I should
friend.
be like, oh, just
Please
spill
spill.
some tea. Would you want?
Give us a
Um,
tagline.
Please spill some tea. I honestly no. Everyone's just. I feel like again the people C and D, they're very like what you see is what you get.
Okay.
Yeah. So nobody has like a stash of bodies in their closet.
Yeah, we were. I think when the day we came to shoot a reel with Maso,
Hmm.
you guys were having a CND faculty meeting,
Acha.
and you were laughing. Everybody was just laughing and having fun, and I thought, is this a meeting?
Yeah, that's where my brain went. I was like, did something happen at a faculty? Our meetings are really chill. So we are just like laughing and we just breeze through everything. And they're serious. We get stuff done. Mm. Yeah, sorry guys, I have no tea to spill.
Okay, so are you a morning person or a night owl?
Both to the detriment of my sleep schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, back to faculty. If you were given a chance to push 3 faculty
Oh my
members
god.
from a plane, with
Who
who would those 3 professors be?
Do they have a parachute?
No.
You're asking me to
Like
like
parachute.
no, this becomes even worse.
This is a modern dilemma.
Oh my god. I don't.
You can't name your friends.
Yeah, again, I live with them. I should not name my friends as the people I would happily push out of a plane with no parachute. Munira Chai ke saath, she'd just be like, what were you saying today? Sorry, Munira, this is not to single you out today. You were just coming up. No comment. This is a very extreme question. I am new here. You were first asking me to make friends, and then you're like, who would you push out of a plane?
Okay. What is something that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
That I have an undergrad degree in English and not art all the way through.
If you were to go on a deserted island but could only take one thing, what would it be?
Something that gives me access to my music. I clearly don't think I'm going to survive this experience, so I might as well have like good vibes to carry me
Good
through.
vibes. Okay. Share an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
It could be about anything.
Yeah. Again, sounding really old. I feel like young people should read more books. Even the people who think that they will not, I'm a firm believer in that there's a book out there for everybody. Come to me. I'm good at recommending books. I will help you find a genre you enjoy. But I don't get people who are like, I don't read. I don't like to. I'm like, what is this? Yeah.
Okay. How would you describe an 8-year-old Rohama? In a sentence. Or in a word.
8 years old. Sassy. Yeah. Bookish and sassy. Both.
Still carrying that.
Thanks. I have not evolved since class 3. This is true. This rapid fire is like
What's your favorite spot on campus?
spot on campus. I'm gonna be boring my office. I think I've made it pretty cozy, so I look forward to spending time there.
Do you have a therapy chair?
I do not have a therapy chair yet. I was actually thinking today maybe I should get a blanket for students who might be upset and they can just like wrap them. So genuinely, this was my thought process. Where I'm buying a lot of things for my apartment these days. So I'm like, should I get an extra blanket for people who
So
are
it's like
sad?
one year and you're like, here's a blanket.
I actually got some sofa throws that are so mushy, and I'm really enjoying napping on them and on my sofa. So I'm like, this could be good for students as well.
Uh, what
A
what's your
music-
last what's your last WhatsApp message?
My last WhatsApp message is probably going to be really boring. It was to the shuttle group I have with other faculty members, and I said I'll be there around 7:35.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So and what's your last screenshot?
Hmm. Let us see. The same friend who I was telling you about. She is from a town in Massachusetts called Chelmsford.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Massachusetts towns is that they are never pronounced the way they're spelled. So I would call this Chelmsford, but it's Chelmsford.
Yeah.
So I sent this to her because 3 years ago she took me on a
So this is
tour.
also the last thing you searched.
No, Google just gave me the
Oh.
yeah. Oh, you want to know the last thing I searched
Yes.
also? My God, you guys. According to the Google bar on my phone, it is the Habib University COVID app.
Oh yeah.
Hate
That
it.
always ruins everything.
But also I have Habit. That is also what I Googled. So I can buy more things for my apartment.
Habit is very expensive.
Habit is very expensive, but I got some really cute things on sale recently.
Oh.
Go to Subway.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's my advice.
Okay. I'll do that.
What music instrument would you like to learn at Habib?
Ooh, at Habib. What's on offer? Or it can be anything, and Habib will just make it
So
happen.
they offer sitar, harmonium, tabla, violin, and then vocals in the
Ooh,
music room.
I would really love violin, but I think you need to start it when you're super young.
No, not really. I mean,
Actually, I feel like the posture and everything, like there's a violin is
no, but
hard.
students come here and they start learning, and then
Students are also younger than me, Marya.
But you're not that
yeah,
old.
you're not.
I'm 300. We have been through this. Okay, so violin would be my answer there.
Okay. Have you ever wrongfully praised a student's work?
What does that mean?
झूठ मूठ में.
झूठ.
Oh,
दिल रखने के लिए.
I don't think so. I know I said I'm mean and funny in class, but I feel like I think I give very honest critique, so I phrase things carefully. But I don't think I would just say amazing and then be like, oh my god, what marks do I get? I don't think I would ever do that.
How would you describe your fashion sense?
Loud.
Love it. And these I've been distracted by these since the beginning of this.
So a friend in grad school made these for me. This was one of her assignments. So we had a laser cut assignment and she made puppets. So these holes niche, these had entire bodies attached. And I really loved them. And she had like extra heads lying around. And I loved them so much in crit. She just went and turned them into earrings that same day. And I've had them for like 4 years now.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, she's a really nice person.
Cool.
So we have some questions from students. So the first question is, since you and Shazil both are illustrators, do people ever compare you? And if so, then how do you feel about it?
Okay, so quick correction. Her name is Shazil.
Okay, Shazil.
It's okay. People have called her much more wrong things. We laugh. Yeah, I think I don't think it's so much of as a comparison because she is much more established than I am. So it's more like, oh, you're Shazil's sister. Of course you do art as well. Which I think used to bother me a bit when I was starting out because I didn't really have a defined style. And you're kind of figuring things out. And sometimes that comparison can be a bit detrimental to one's own development. But now it doesn't bother me. I'd be jazzed if somebody said my work reminded them of hers. I think it'd be cool. But also, we draw and we do very different things, I feel, with our work. So I think comparison of come
Okay. What do you think about art schools in general? As in, are they worth it?
I think so for me, absolutely. So yes, I had been drawing and doing design work all through LUMS, A levels, mein, all that, right? Taught myself Photoshop ke basics or ye sab made posters for everybody. But I knew that for grad school, I really needed to go to art school because for me, I need structure, I need deadlines, I need someone I'm accountable to. So, YouTube tutorials, there's so many self taught, really amazing people out there. That's not how I work. So, I think if you figure out that part, and also, but it's not just the teachers you come for, it's for community, right? And it's for critique and it's for all these things that people, I think, find very scary at the start. But you can end up really strengthening where you're from, I think, and really grow because you are having conversations that you would have never thought of otherwise, right? Um, sure, people can leave comments on your work and stuff, but the kind of like face to face feedback you're able to have, the time you take to get to know another person and their work, and then to be like, oh, I think this thing would really suit your style. I really love it when students start like making those observations about each other's work and they're able to recommend things to each other without my needing them to force to have like forcing them to have those conversations. So in that sense, yeah, I think there's a lot that can be that's still like beneficial about art school.
And the last last question. मुझे घर जाना है पर घर है कहाँ is one of the person's favorite artworks. Can you talk about it? Where did you get the inspiration from, and why did you choose to write the letters separately?
Yeah, that's one that's really close to my heart as well. I made it as part of a printmaking course in grad school. So it was like my printmaking final. And we were doing lino cuts, or I decided to do lino cuts, and I didn't really know what to do at the time. So you guys asked me about like representing Pakistan did. There's weirdly a bunch of things that I did that just had Urdu in them, and I'm not comfortable in Urdu. Like people, I think, are very surprised that I'm from Lahore and that I didn't grow up in America. I sound different to my sisters as well. I have this weird accent. So for me, not knowing Urdu very much is a bit of a sore spot, and it's something I definitely want to work on. Uh, and I also feel like language is one of the things that grounds you in a sense of home. That's kind of like the first you're whenever people are like, oh, what do you think? It's like, oh, people speak the same way, culture, yeah, khana, yeah. But language is always like part of that list. And it's never really been the case for me. So because of that discomfort I have with Urdu, I thought of making the sprint and I broke it up into letters precisely because I wanted it to be harder to read, right? When you look at it, it doesn't make sense until you read the title and then you can make those connections for yourself. And at the time, because I was presenting in front of a bunch of Americans mostly, or like international students, my professor was American. So for them, obviously, in any case, it looks like a bunch of shapes. But for me, it's that those shapes mean something. There's also an artist named Zarina Hashmi who I don't think I had seen her work properly when I made the sprint. But somebody once commented on that post on Instagram and they were like, oh, it looks like you're really inspired by her. And I am now. So Zarina Hashmi also made a lot of lino cut prints, and I saw them at MoMA in New York and in San Francisco. And you should look them up, and the person who asked that question should look them up too. They're so beautiful, and they'll just be black and white prints, and each it'll just have like andhera, yeah, andhi written, just like one word in Urdu that she's written in pencil, and that's it. And I saw them in the museum, and I almost cried when I saw them for the first time because, again, it was just something so moving and in a language I'm uncomfortable with, but it was just a word that I could relate to, and it looked like Andhi in Lahore. That's where she was also based for a little bit, I believe, because she traveled around a bunch. So yeah, that's kind of the thought process behind that print. And it means different things to different people. I've had people just, it's mostly women. I have never had a man ask me, this print, I relate to it so much, speaks to my soul. I think exclusively every time I get an order for it on my website, it is a woman's name attached to it, right? Because I think that's just how a lot of us feel in Pakistan as well, trying to figure out, yes, this is my home, but like, what does that mean? Like, what part of it am I choosing to consider home over here? No.
That's it. I think.
I have two last questions.
Hmm.
Which course would you like to sit in?
Hmm.
That'll be.
Um, Performing narrative sounds really cool. And I also really I want to take a look at the comparative humanities roster and see the kinds of lit courses and stuff they have on offer. Munira was telling me about this Japanese poetry someone named Ryan was teaching.
Ryan did.
Yeah, that sounded so. I really love Japanese literature as well, so that also sounded like something I would have loved to. Yeah,
And if you want to improve your Urdu, you can sit in Jahan Urdu as well.
that is a plan. I was
Yeah,
thinking.
there's one professor who actually sits in the January lectures
Hmm.
and takes notes.
Yeah.
It's cute.
And even some people from the writing center also just come and
Hmm.
sit, and that becomes prepared.
Okay, that'll be next year though, right? It's not offered in spring, or is it?
It's being offered right
Right now,
Huh.
yeah, it's offered in fall. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
next fall. Abhi to mahina
Yeah.
rehta hai. And I have my own work as well. Hmm.
And last question:
Hmm.
who's a faculty member who should definitely come on this show?
Ooh, I'm gonna echo Munira and say Nimra and Colleen from our friends group are left. And I think you guys are having Christy on anyway.
Yes.
Isma would be cool.
Yeah, so we're calling Isma next semester.
Okay. Momin would be really lovely, I think. I think he has some
Yeah.
really nice ideas. The art school question you asked, I think you could make a whole show on that
Yeah.
and Momin's opinions. So I think he'd be cool.
Yeah.
CND cult. Oh, also,
See, that's true.
how do you feel about the tiny fan following that you have?
I don't believe in it.
You do have it.
I don't, until I see it, I do not believe it.
And we got actual
Fan art for you?
Yeah.
So,
And we also got this क्या बोलते हैं demand ना कि आप लोग
yeah,
क्या है,
kids,
मतलब
see,
ऐसे
we
Oh, wow.
pleased you in our
Is the
site.
demand Munira? Because she's the only one who I've heard say this. So okay. Yeah, I see. I see where the demand is coming from.
But there is one.
Okay. Yeah, that's very sweet. I hope I continue to be worthy of my cult status. It's the weird question. It's very sweet. I still don't believe it, but it's very cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we loved it, enjoyed it.
Really?
She was just like, what? Oh, am I back?
Yeah.
Oh no.